The Son of God means God. Quote, Adam, which was the Son of God, Luke 3:38, RSV, NIV, KJV, ASV, AMP, EXV, etc. Trinitarianism asserts that the Son of God means God. Quote, when Paul said that Jesus is the Son of God, we understand him to mean that Jesus is God. Desiring God Ministry, desiringgod.org. When Jesus calls himself the Son of God, he is communicating that he is God. Stand to Reason Ministry. Jesus said that only the Father is God. Quote, Father, you alone are the true God. John 17:3, NEB, Wycliffe, AMP, GNV, etc. Chapter 5 of Volume 1 of Sleight of Mind is titled Only the Father is God. It is an 11,673-word in-depth treatise. For the sake of brevity, we need here only recognize that Jesus declared the same thing in John 17:3. The word translated only or alone in John 17:3 is monos, M-O-N-O-S. It means one and only, just as monotheism means the belief in one and only one God. When Jesus says that only the Father is God, he means that no one other than his Father is God. Son means offspring. The son of Bob is Bob's offspring, not Bob himself. The son of Jehovah is Jehovah's offspring, not Jehovah himself. Species versus individual. We are all members of the species Homo sapiens. When the Bible speaks of the Son of Man, Ezekiel 2:1, Daniel 8:17, etc., it is describing a noteworthy representative of the species. But God is not a species. 1 Corinthians 8:6 tells us, quote, there is but one God, which it also tells us is the Father, just as John 17:3 tells us that only the Father is God. When Scripture speaks of Jesus as the Son of God, it is not depicting him as a member of the God species, but as the Son of the one and only being who is God. Notably, the term Son of God is never used in the Bible about God himself, only about lesser beings who he has caused to exist. Angels are the sons of God. Quote, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Genesis 6:2. Quote, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Job 1:6. Satan, being an angel, is also a son of God, albeit a rebellious and fallen one. Quote, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Job 38:7. Quote, he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Daniel 3:25. Later, he is said to be God's angel. Daniel 3:28. Quote, but those who are counted worthy to attain the resurrection from the dead are equal to the angels and are sons of God. Luke 20:35, New King James Version. Men are the sons of God. David said, quote, Jehovah hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Psalm 2:7. Quote, for as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Romans 8:14. Quote, Beloved, now are we the sons of God. 1 John 3:2. Jesus is the Son of God. Quote, the Holy One to be born will be called the Son of God. Luke 1:35, NIV, NJB, etc. Quote, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down. Matthew 4:6. Quote, he said, I am the Son of God. Matthew 27:43. Jesus meant that God was his Father, not that he himself was God. Quote, Therefore, the Jews sought the more to kill him because he said also that God was his Father. John 5:18. The Son of God. It is sometimes argued that the Son of God is different than a Son of God, that the word the distinguishes Jesus as being of a different kind than those who are merely sons of God, that the Son of God means God, even if the anarthrous, without the definite article, term, Son of God, does not. This is a fallacy. Adam is called the Son of God in Luke 3:38. Israelites are called the sons of the living God in Hosea 1:10, and even Israel is called God's son in Exodus 4:22. Conclusion. The term the Son of God does not mean God. It is used in any number of applications to angels, men, and is even used as a title for Israel itself. It denotes God's offspring, whether by procreation or adoption. It is never used of God himself. The argument that Jesus being the Son of God means that he is God is false to biblical fact and simply not true.